Hey everyone, welcome back to the Find Your Flow channel. And in this week's video, I'm talking about one of the secrets that top athletes use that you can implement to stay strong both physically and mentally while you're stuck at home. Now, I know that all of our routines have really been upended and changed quite drastically in the last few weeks. And it is an opportunity that we can make use of this time to include new routines and implement new strategies into our lives in order to improve even more so than where we were at from before this whole thing. Athletes at the top of their game have utilized visualization for a very long time in order to achieve that peak performance state that they need to be the very best. And it's taken its time to be introduced into other areas and other fields, but I want to go through a few of the top tips that I have that I coach strongman athletes with in this video so that you can implement it, whether you're going to use it to maintain your strength if you were going through a very regimented and diligent workout routine before all of this, or if it's also trying to visualize your performance in other aspects of your life that may not be accessible right now, such as giving presentations or networking and meeting with new people to grow your business. These are all things that you can actually visualize your performance on and improve even though you can't go out and actually do them right now. So there's nothing really magical about this whole visualization thing, as much as a lot of self-help gurus talk about things like visualization and manifestation in a sort of woo-woo way. There's actually a lot of science behind the act of visualization because our brains don't actually do a very good job of recognizing that which happens just in our mind through visualization and that which happens in real life. And there's research to show that our brains light up in the same sort of way when we're just imagining something that we are doing and versus doing it in reality. So that could be something as easy as picking up a pencil and writing. Even just thinking about it, our brains show the same sort of patterns of activation. So it may be really amazing to think, but you can actually achieve quite a bit by sitting and doing nothing if you're really diligent with your visualization routine. So what I want to do today is go through a few of the steps and a few of the things that I think are key to getting into a great visualization experience so that you can implement this and practice it regularly over the next couple of weeks. And hopefully it's something you'll find some value in that you'll then take off and incorporate into your regular routine as well when things get back to normal. So a few of the key tips that I coach athletes through that really stand out to me as critical for getting the most out of your visualization practice. The first one is to dial into the surroundings of the event or the task as well as possible before going into a relaxed state to visualize. So in strongman terms, I usually have the athletes think about the actual setting as best as possible. This may mean doing your research ahead of time and looking at Google Maps to see what the location looks like if it's outdoors, or if it's in a venue and you've got a presentation to give. You could also go and scout it out, do some research, and start to take in the surroundings so that you can then take that into your mental landscape when you're visualizing your performance. And so another thing that this ties into that's really important is trying to utilize as much of your senses as possible. So once you get into a relaxed state, you want to think of and visualize the sights, the sounds, the smells, everything in your environment, even the way the air feels, the temperature. All of that is the key to a rich environment mentally for this visualization practice. And then the third step that I've already mentioned a couple of times is getting relaxed. So this may mean taking a few deep breaths or even meditating for 5 to 10 minutes prior to going into your practice of visualization. I find that this is really important for the whole practice because you want your body relaxed so that you can be as focused as possible. If you are, for example, hungry or in an uncomfortable position, you're going to be that much more distracted when you try to go into the visualization practice. And this is another reason why I think float tanks are such a great place, and why athletes like Steph Curry have talked about using float tanks as part of their visualization practice, is because there's no distractions around you and it's the perfectly relaxed and comfortable situation that you're in. So that may mean finding a comfortable chair to sit in before starting your visualization, or it may even mean lying flat on the ground. Especially when it comes to athletic performances, I find this particularly useful, because if you're really intensely visualizing something, you're actually going to start to even feel your muscles twitching or moving. And it's just that much safer if you've got some extra space on the floor. You can lay yourself down and get relaxed that way. And it also is the position that you require the least amount of oxygen in, which means that your body is very relaxed and slack when you're laying down flat. So once you're laying down or seated comfortably, you'll also want to close your eyes if you haven't already done so when getting into a relaxed breathing state or meditation prior to the visualization. And now you're ready to actually do your practice. So in terms of sports performance, this usually means you are running through the competition that you are in. So if it's a race, or if it's a strongman competition, the events of the competition. And in terms of how we can make use of this right now while we're staying at home and maybe unable to work out as intensely as we want to, you could also visualize your gym routine. So it may be just a few of the main lifts that you want to kind of keep sharp in your motor pathways, or it could be the whole routine as well. And so you want to go through and once again get into that environment as much as possible, and then start to actually think your way through and visualize your way through the motions that you're going to be doing. And when it comes to something like a speech or a performance or maybe a networking event, you'd also want to, in your head, rehearse what you're saying or thinking or doing in that sense as well. So you can rehearse pretty much anything this way, and it's going to start to create that pattern of recognition in your brain and in your body. And then when you go back into the real world again, you've got this built up skill that you've been working on just in your head that allows you to not be a complete rookie or a complete novice at whatever it is you're doing. And so you'll be that much further ahead and able to act more comfortably in that flow state instead of just out of instinct or because you were nervous or afraid or shy or anything like that in the situation. It'll become more of something that you're already ready and rehearsed for. So your workouts may not be completely ideal right now. And so going through and practicing the motions in your head can allow you to at least mentally rehearse the way that you are going to lift that heavy weight when you can get back to it. And this will actually keep your nervous system primed and ready to take on more of that weight again when it comes back to it. So in the physical terms of it, we're still going to struggle through this phase of lockdown and being stuck at home, but we can try to mitigate it as much as possible through this visualization practice, as well as doing whatever you can in terms of home workouts to keep your body still strong and conditioned and in shape. But when it comes to the things that you can rehearse as far as business performances or speeches, presentations, there's not a lot of difference in terms of getting that practice visually where you're in the setting and also practicing it out loud as you would normally practice a speech or a presentation. Combining those two things together makes a big difference when you have to go back out into the world and you're not as rusty or feeling out of performance or out of sync with what you're used to doing. So I hope you found this guide to visualization very helpful and that you can utilize some of these tools to stay sharp during this difficult time. If you did, I really appreciate it if you hit the like button And also subscribe to the channel to stay tuned for more videos and podcasts. And of course, as always, dream on and find your flow.